The Epsons?
Yeah.
Why? Are they like 25K? Like,
They're like whatever 5,000 nit brightness.
oh really? They're like super bright?
Should have got a water. You want water or something?
I have a coffee. Yeah, maybe you should get water for yourself. I don't know. That might be useful.
I guess that's why. So you can AirPlay on this one and then your HDMI the other way. Oh, there we go.
Oh, I think I got it.
Okay.
Cool. You want to grab water or are you good? Yeah.
So I want to introduce Sohrab and Dave from Notion.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
It's going to be the last talk, the design room here. We're a few minutes behind, but the good thing is you don't talk after this, so I can just go right to lunch. I'll let them both take it away here, and then we'll have a few minutes after for questions.
Let's do it. I feel like a professor or something. This is crazy. Oh my God. I'm like living my.
Like a professor.
Do I? No, I don't. I don't think so. Well, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Sohrab. I work at Notion. I'm working on Notion's marketplace team, and I actually work with this guy over here. I'm very lucky. This guy is the GOAT. Dave over here. I'm going to let him introduce himself as well.
Cool. I also work on Sohrab's team at Notion. Our team is actually called the Adoption Team. It's this overarching umbrella team that has marketplace and templates and distribution of custom agents.
Oh yeah.
And also certified consultants and a program that I manage called Setup Sessions, which is a sub-program for certified consultants to help businesses get onboarded onto Notion and figure out how to use Notion for their specific use cases. So we have a lot of fun doing what we're doing and working with all kinds of different types of Notion users.
Oh yeah. And we just launched connections too. So a lot of MCP stuff. We're going to dabble into that today. Just so I get like, I don't know, I want to get a quick survey. How many people here use Notion at all? Show of hands. Okay. Use it at all. Use it, familiar with it, you kind of understand like what Notion even is. Okay, good. Wow, interesting. So half the people here don't know what Notion is.
Cool.
Maybe we should do a Notion 101 or something, you know, like a 5-minute thing. I don't know. Could be worth it.
I love this game because Notion is such a modular product that doesn't have like a very specific prescribed way of using it. It's more like a toolbox in a workshop than it is a specific tool. And so everyone's definition of what Notion is different. I'd love to hear your one-liner of what Notion is and what it does.
I mean, I'm just gonna pull straight from like the marketing page and be like an all-in-one AI workspace. But no one knows what that means, right? It's like, what? So what I usually do is like I ask a question like, what do you do, right? Like based off what you do, I like get that context. So like, I don't know, I'm a realtor. It's like, oh, well, Notion could be your CRM. Notion could be how you follow up with clients. It could be where you manage your transactions and your properties. It's like, oh, I don't know, I run a restaurant. It's like, oh, okay, your inventory. You want to do like your P&L, you know, like stuff like that. So based off whatever you do, you can kind of adapt Notion for that, which is why Notion, I think we're at like 100 million users. Insane number, and it's like growing exponentially. So you have things like, I don't know, students are using Notion, personal users for like things like, I don't know, habit tracking, personal finances, and then of course like teams, enterprises, businesses and stuff. That's how I would describe it. It's like very much like I take the question, put it back on you, and it's like, what do you do? Okay, based off that, let's build it out. I think just because like maybe half the room isn't too familiar with Notion, it's worth doing like a very quick demo of like what Notion even is. And then, because it's going to be hard to understand like automating work or like what custom agents even are if you don't understand the software, right? Like what Notion really does. I don't know, let's do a little 101 or something like that. Okay, so I got Notion open up here. This is my personal workspace. If you see anything here that's weird, do not question it, okay? This is all my, you really get to know someone if you ever look at their Notion workspace. And yeah, so you can see I actually hid all my pages here so you can't see anything. But Notion essentially is similar to a lot of other kind of like no-code apps where you can build out workflows, or like if you have like a very specific thing in mind, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a good use case here to build out to like demonstrate a good custom agent. Like I think like a lot of people think Notion is good for like note-taking or wiki or knowledge management because we have this beautiful kind of rich text editor here where like if I were to create a new page here, right, you could do something like this and you're like, oh, I have a, I don't know, a team wiki or something. And you have a title on the page. And this is very normal. You feel like you're in Google Docs or something, right? And I can start adding things like, I don't know, what are some things in my team wiki? I have like how we operate, our team values, right? And you can like list things out. The culture, there's like out of office policy, I don't know, the whole shebang. The cool part about Notion is like, of course you can like get this beautiful markdown, rich text editor experience. But the cool part to me is the fact that everything is technically a block in Notion, right? Like you're used to kind of Google Docs or like maybe Obsidian if you guys use that where it's just like markdown files and that's like a line in a file. In this case, because Notion is very block-based, everything stems from that. So these lines I created are actually just blocks. And what I could do is actually turn these blocks into something else, right? Like right now these are text blocks, but maybe I want to actually turn them into a page, right? So I could do something like a turn into page. And what's cool about that is like I can go into now how we operate, click that, and that's its own page, and I still have that big kind of beautiful markdown text editor thing. You can imagine like how this can just go crazy, right? Within like a team setting where you just have like hundreds of pages, and that's where like this sidebar comes in, and you start organizing things in like team spaces. There's a lot when it comes to the Notion product. I don't know. I think for the custom agent demo, this is probably a good enough spot, and then maybe we'll talk about the sidekick after.
Maybe
Okay.
I'll just add one thing.
Okay,
Which is
yeah.
That, at its core, Notion is kind of a glorified database tool, and databases are what power a lot of the value that you can extract from a tool like Notion. And so these blocks that you're seeing on the screen, they exist as either blocks on a page, or in this case, he's turned them into individual pages of their own on a page, and then you can have other pages in those pages, kind of like a Russian nesting doll kind of thing. But those are organized only as pages. They don't really have the ability to enjoy deeper metadata to give them more context. If you put those pages into a Notion database, though, then you can add what many of you know are called properties, which are just basically columns for metadata in a Notion database.
We should probably build it
do
out.
it.
Let's do it. Let's
Takes
do a
only a
live one.
second.
Okay, so
And you can start giving all kinds of deeper additional context to the data that you're capturing.
I just created a new inline database in our team wiki page. So in this case, I'm just going to call this docs, right? Very generic. And this is what Dave was talking about, this idea of like adding metadata or like columns on a spreadsheet or like properties to a page. So when it comes to docs, there's probably like a few things you'd want to know about that specific page you created. So when it comes to like how we operate, maybe I'd want to know like who made it, maybe what team is relevant, when it was created. I don't know, are there other properties that are useful here?
Sure. Probably a status.
A status, oh, that's a good one. Okay, let's start with status. I think that's a very easy one. So I just clicked the little plus button on the right side, create a new column, a new property in Notion lingo, and I'm just going to go on status, create a new status property. Let's just do one more for simplicity, maybe a date property.
Yeah, date created.
Let's do a date created. Let's find that. There we go. Create a time. And the cool part about Notion is like I have these pages already. I can actually just drag these pages straight into my database, right? Just like this. And boom, it's there. And of course, like that how we operate page still has that same kind of rich text. Whatever you had in that page exists now and it's there. But the cool part is it's organized in this database more kind of structured format where like maybe this is in progress, clearly, there's a lot of typos here. And these are not started. Maybe this one is like completed. And you can imagine you just kind of go crazy with the properties and you could filter by these properties, you can sort by these properties, and really create like a really unique kind of database view of your internal data. Whether it's if you're a student, it's like your student data. It could be like courses and your marks. If you're a personal user, it's like, I don't know, your finances or habits or to-dos or tasks. And for teams, of course, there's like even more. It really depends on what your company is. I think that we're in a good spot.
I think so. This is like a really important primitive to understand in order to grasp the kind of power you can have with custom agents, because the custom agents are going to be interacting with and creating data here in your Notion databases, or maybe even creating Notion databases for you.
Yeah.
But understanding what's happening once that data is in the databases is kind of like core to having that ability to even prompt your custom agents effectively. And maybe I'll add just a couple of things so that people understand a little bit more of the power of the basic database. You mentioned views, and I think that that's one of those features of Notion that takes your ability to look at your data and to glean insights from your data and just kicks it up really, really big notch.
Totally.
So right now we're looking at what's called a table view. It's basically like a spreadsheet. It's rows and columns, right? We can look at this very same data in this database, but we can dress it up in different clothes, different outfits, without changing the data, just so that we can get different kinds of insights from it. So we have, I don't know, 6 or 7 different types of views that we can add. So aside from the table, we can do a Kanban board, we could do a chart, we could do a timeline, and this displays all of the existing data that you've captured in your database in different visual ways, using different metadata from your property columns. And you can get really customized with how exactly you want to dress up each one of your views, and you can have as many views as you like. And you can even take a view of a database and you can put it somewhere else in your Notion workspace so that you bring that data and the ability to glean insights from that data to exactly where it needs to be in as many places.
I use that a lot actually with like team meetings, right? Like if we have like a company docs database, I'm gonna take like a linked view of the company docs database and put it in my team's meetings, right? Because we want to like see what projects we're working on, the documents related to it, but I would just filter it just for my specific team. That way, like the data still lives in like this global database where like all the docs are in one spot, but I get a linked view of it inside the team. And like other teams are doing this too, right? You can have hundreds of teams and they're just having their own linked view, but the data is still in like consolidated in one clean area, so you can always reference it. Okay, I think we're in a good spot. Is there any questions? Anything weird? Yeah, sure.
I thought we were going to use cursor. I don't see anything. This is just a really very basic, just looking thing.
Hey, man.
It's on Wikipedia. I don't see anything. We're not like I thought we were going to build systems here. I don't see it, and we haven't started cursor yet.
I love the enthusiasm. It's coming up, man. It's coming up. I saw. There was a few hands that didn't know what Notion is, and I feel like it wouldn't make sense if they don't understand it. So we just wanted to dive into that, but we're going to jump into it as soon as possible. I mean, have you heard of Notion Workers? Okay, you're in for a treat then. We're going to be using Cursor to build a few Notion Workers, which essentially allow you to use MCP or AI to automate a lot of these workflows.
Like a macro kind of.
Exactly, yeah. The cool part is now, like, I know we're kind of jumping ahead. We're going to get to that very soon, but it's going to be very fun. We're going to use Cursor and we're going to build it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question about the database.
Sure.
Do I need to put all my data to, let's say, the wiki here, or can I connect with, let's say, my Jira conference page
Sorry, repeat the question. Can you connect the database to?
to other database that I already have, let's say Jira or conference?
Oh, yes. Well, that's a really, okay, so it's a very relevant question because with a Notion worker, what we essentially allow you to do is now sync data from any other data source that has an API into a Notion database. And I'm going to show a demo of like what we've built and what I use at Notion to do some of that type of work here. And we're gonna use Cursor to do that as well. Okay, cool. Let's jump into custom agents, and then once we get into custom agents, we can start building some stuff with Cursor and have some fun with it. So with custom agents, I'm going to open up an example custom agent that we have here. This is the product support custom agent that I made. The cool part about custom agents is it can actually connect to different things. If we go here to scroll down a bit here, there's a few different connections. You're probably very familiar with these, like Slack, Cursor, Amplitude. The coolest part is you could do things like connecting it just to custom MCP and really kind of go crazy with it. In this case, we're going to keep it a little bit simple and just do Slack. I think a lot of companies just live in Slack and operate in Slack, and they don't want to open Notion, right? It's just like one more tool I got to go to. So with this specific custom agent, let's jump into the demo. I have a Slack workspace here that I'm going to demo in. Here's a random channel that I made called Product Help. You can imagine, I don't know, you have a bunch of Zendesk tickets, or perhaps, I don't know, someone who has like a question about a very specific product, or like, what are we selling? There's like context kind of everywhere in Notion, but I don't want to go to Notion, or maybe my workspace architecture isn't very clean. What I can do is literally within Slack, ask a question like, I don't know. Let's say I'm a very new employee, and I say like, what do we sell again? What is our company? What's going to happen here is that when I send this message in Slack, is actually if I open up Notion here, let's see. If I set it up correctly. This is how demos always go. You get it ready and you do it an hour before, and then you show it and it's like, nope, that's not going to work today.
Actually, it's a good opportunity to talk about how to set up an agent. We have instructions, and we have the triggers, and we have the tools and access. And so you connected Slack.
I have connected Slack. I've connected to my channel here. This channel is Product Help. It's under Read and Reply. And let's see. Oh, I know the problem. Oh my God, what a basic problem. My trigger here was when the agent is mentioned. I just sent a message here in Slack without mentioning the custom agent, right? Because a lot of times you're going to have chatter within the workspace, and you're asking questions like, what's the weather like today? What are you eating for lunch? And the agent shouldn't respond to that. So all I have to do here is just say @product helper, what do we sell again? And now, if we cross our fingers, let's see. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Sorry, you know what I just realized? I renamed it to product support. Let's do that one last time. Oh my God, I'm like, no, it shouldn't be called helper, it should be called support. There we go. Okay, so you can see that's the custom agent we built. It's noodling, it's thinking, it's working on it. And if I go back to Notion, you can see all the chats are here as well. And the cool part about this custom agent that we made is it actually just follows whatever instructions you have within this Notion page. So in this case, this is just like a product support custom agent. It's just following the instructions here of like, help answers user questions by searching through. And I just linked to a page in my Notion workspace, which is AI Customer Support Hub. So you have things like the home page. We have things like specific customer questions that have been answered, right? Because like Notion is like, has all of your context, your company and team's knowledge in there already. And if I were to go back, let's see, one response, hey, we sell smart light bulbs at Lumi Labs. Very basic question, but it answered it just like that, and I could follow up and ask another question. This is like what we call a Q&A custom agent. You could really imagine this applying to like a bunch of different, like I've seen this, we use this even personally at Notion, where we would have a team that uses Notion, and then internally we have a CSM that would have a custom agent just help respond to questions automatically, right? It's just like a general purpose Q&A kind of knowledge bot. That's like one of the three main custom agents. Another one is like a status reporter, or like a reporting agent that's like on Monday at 9 a.m., look at other businesses in my competitive landscape and give me a report. And then the last one is like a triaging agent that would kind of like look at a question like this and like assign it to the right person, add a task to a Kanban board, put context and stuff like that. Any questions? This is, yeah.
Yeah, so let's say if I'm working at this product support team, I want to see the dashboard about how many questions we received over the past week,
Yeah.
and how many questions are unaddressed, something like that. So would you suggest to build a separate agent dedicated for dashboard, or do you think that's also the flow here with this?
Exactly, that's a really good question. In this case, I would actually just edit the instructions page of this agent because it's just a simple Notion page. I could literally just right here in the actions to create a new entry in a database, like someone asked this question and here was the response. Or better yet, since I already have this AI customer support hub, right? This is like a page or like a wiki or something in here. I could just add that question directly in here, for example, right? So it's really free form. The Notion agent has like full control of your Notion workspace. You just have to instruct it to do whatever you want to do. So if you want to add it to a database, you can get it to, I don't know, send another Slack message, whatever it is that you want it to do, you just have to put it in the instructions page and it's going to do that.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about a tool like Custom Agents is it's actually pretty simplistic what's happening. You have this agent that's following these instructions and it's connected to a data source and it's answering when it gets called in Slack as he set it up. Of course, there are a lot of ways to set it up. The magic is coming from the data source, right? This is a way to access the right data at the right moment and give that insight to the right person at that moment. And so the real value here is coming from what you're connecting it to. You can give instructions to your agent to connect to one specific page or database if it's very guardrailed. You can give it access to your entire workspace, your entire team. You can give it access to external tools and databases and other tools. And so the world is your oyster in terms of how far-reaching you want an agent to act on your behalf.
I think you had a question there.
I had a question about if we ask some irrelevant question, how does it react? And do we have a temperature setting that we can do from our end?
So there's a few parameters. There isn't a temperature setting. There is the ability to choose different models. Of course, Notion supports all the major frontier models, so you can do it like that. What I usually do in that case is I just edit the instructions. So you can go super low level with like temperature and like creativity, but in the instructions, you can like tweak the response and kind of prompt it in a way to like be very careful with the response. So like if there's a billing related question, do not answer it type thing. But it would be done in the instructions. There isn't like a knob you can tweak on temperature yet. I'm not sure. Maybe that's something that might pop up.
What are some of the most effective ways you've seen it used? Or like two-part question, like the most leverage you can get, save time, increase productivity, whatever.
I mean, do you want to talk about your Sidekick custom agent? That, I mean, you had like, instead of hiring someone, we were kind of essentially able to fully automate an entire role using a custom agent.
Pretty much, yeah. So I manage the operations for this program that has 160 certified Notion consultants as members. And I'm the one person who manages them and gives them all their support and helps to train them and basically just holds their hand day to day. But it's a big job, and my main number one blocker is my bandwidth constraint. And so that's a perfect job for an AI tool like a custom agent. It is on round the clock. I'm not, right? It has the ability to get insights from massive amounts of data very quickly. I don't have that ability, so it's really a job better done for an agent like this. And so what I did was I created.
Can I show it in Slack?
You could show it in Slack, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give the background first, though.
Sure.
I created this massive knowledge base in Notion. It's this constrained, enclosed. It's essentially a Notion page with some database elements inside it that captures all of the knowledge and policies and best practices and SOPs about this program. There's a lot to know. And this ended up being like a 20,000 word document. And I spent quite a bit of time putting this together in the hopes that I could unload a lot of my day-to-day question answering to this agent, especially for the things that are pretty mechanical, things that don't require human touch and are just getting the right person, the right answer to the right question at that right moment that they need it, especially if they're like in a different time zone and I'm not even at my desk. So what I did was I compiled this whole knowledge base. I created a Slack Q&A agent exactly like that. And I trained this agent by refining the instructions continually over the course of the last month or two to exactly like you just asked about, to only answer certain types of questions, to only chime in under very specific circumstances, to only answer using very particular kind of language that's on brand and using the voice of the way that I manage this program. And I've trained this agent to really be another member of my team. And we didn't have to increase the headcount of my team just because I have this agent. And over time, as I continually refine the instructions, it gets better and better at its job. It's doing just amazing work now. And I don't need to, I mean, I keep an eye on the answers that it gives to everyone in the program, but I don't need to write them. I don't need to research them. I don't need to use my bandwidth on that task. And I can instead dedicate and allocate my bandwidth to something that really moves the needle for my program and something that gains its value by being done by a person instead of by a machine. So I think that like me and my sidekick, Dave's set up such
I feel like this is like a classic question, which is like someone tagged Dave personally, right? This event is not showing up in my inbox, and like there's a bunch of moving parts here. And you can see Dave's sidekick responds like immediately, and then Dave responds a few days later. And it's just like that's like solving that bandwidth question almost immediately. And I don't know, it's like incredible to see like as a program grows, it can just keep answering these repetitive questions over and over again with no issue.
Mm-hmm. But I think the key, and I think it really was a good question about the temperature setting, the key to making one of these agents work is to continually train it, very much like you continually train a person. I think the relationship is very similar. It's just that the skill set and the, how should I put it, the strengths are very different, right?
Yeah.
So it's creating its own ontology about the databases and other stuff, how they can relate to each other on the fly.
Yeah, so actually, the way that I treat this particular agent and a bunch of the agents that I run is kind of in a self-healing way, where as I come across new edge cases for whatever it's helping me with, I run that right back into the agent instructions, and I get that to update the underlying data source. And so every day, it's literally just getting better and better.
Cool. Do we have a few extra minutes?
Yeah, we have 1 or 2 minutes here for questions, and we'll kind of go till 12:04, just because we're starting a little bit later. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
How does someone become a certified Norton consultant?
You want to take that? That's a good question.
Sure. So we have the Notion Academy. It's academy.notion.com, and it's a whole bunch of great educational resources. And there are 3 Academy badges that you can get. They're, frankly, for someone who is a Notion user, they're not very difficult to get, but it's a really good validation of your Notion knowledge. And those 3 badges take probably an hour each, and there's a quiz for each one. Once you get those 3 badges, then you become eligible to take the Notion certifications. Those are more involved. They're a lot harder. They're specifically for people who want to work as a Notion consultant and to help other companies implement Notion. They're both paid certifications, and they take probably 4 to 6 hours each to complete the course material, and then there's a 90-minute exam for each one, auto-proctored exam. So it's valid for 2 years. And so once you get those certifications, then you're eligible to apply to become a solutions partner. That's the official name for a Notion certified consultant. And when you become a solutions partner, very importantly, you can get listed on the Notion marketplace. There's a Notion consultants directory, and it's a great way to get exposure, and it's a great way to drum up business for Notion consultants.
So freelance manager.
Yeah, exactly.
So the best learning material is on the Academy?
I would say that on Notion Academy is a great starting point, but there are so many great YouTube channels out there with Notion ambassadors that I would also recommend. If you want to talk to me afterwards, I can rhyme off like 5 or 6 of them off the top of my head that might be worth following.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool.
Aside from the certification costs, are there ongoing costs to be part of the partnership program as well, as a solutions partner?
There are not.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No, you just have to redo the certification every 2 years.
Right.
With good reason, right? Like the product and the whole tech world is moving so quickly.
2 weeks changes
2
everything.
weeks changes everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Cool. I think we got to wrap up.
Thank you. So if there's, do you guys have any way that to connect with you guys?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be outside the door. I'm on LinkedIn. He's on LinkedIn. If you guys want to talk about workers or Cursor or Notion, I'm gonna just be outside there.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.